Hello, Alaska. I just came out of a meeting with Judge Amy Coney Barrett, President Trump's nominee to be on the U.S. Supreme Court. It was a really productive meeting, almost 45 minutes with her. We covered a bunch of topics. She's clearly a thoughtful and intelligent jurist with many, many credentials to her name. You know, some of the topics we covered right at the outset: the role of a judge on the federal judiciary. Something I believe, and she agreed with me, it's the judge's job to interpret the law, not to legislate from the bench. I think she was in full agreement on that. A lot of our discussion focused on Alaska-specific issues. I talked about how unique our state was, but also how there are many unique, complicated laws, such as the Alaska Native Claims Settlement Act, ANILCA, the Trans-Alaska Pipeline Act, even the Tax Act of 2017, which has a whole section on the opening of ANWR. We went into depth about how federal courts often misinterpret these very important laws for our state, which could do huge damage to Alaska. So I told her to keep an eye on these kind of cases. And then we went into depth on the Sturgeon versus Frost case as an example of lower courts, in this case the Ninth Circuit, really misinterpreting federal law. Fortunately, the Supreme Court, in two different opinions, finally got ANILCA and Alaska right in the Sturgeon case. I respectfully gave her this case and asked her to read it. We talked a lot about the Second Amendment. She is a strong, strong defender of the Second Amendment. There was a Seventh Circuit case in which she wrote a dissent that, to me, is one of the most powerful dissents that I've read on the Second Amendment and the importance of it. I would mention to Alaskans, if they're interested in it, we can make sure you know what case that is, to take a look at it, to read it. We had a deep discussion also on the issue of the power and limitations of federal agencies, administrative agencies. She had written an opinion on limiting the power of the waters of the United States that I thought was very important, and we had a long discussion on that as well. Covered a bunch of other topics as well, but I would say I'm certainly looking forward to seeing more of her views as the Judiciary Committee hearings kick into gear. But overall, it was an important meeting today, and I think she came away with a sense of just how important and unique many of the federal laws that come before the U.S. Supreme Court relate to Alaska, and that was my goal today.